You may have heard of the kitchen sink school of art, a recent trend which has been both praised and damned. But now let's meet an artist whose work, though always above criticism, is often associated with the kitchen in ordinary households, but whose skill, as you'll see, has taken him to the heights of his profession.
Now time for some interactive fun.
The only thing I'm good at is procrastination because I have been procrastinating. Maybe you can tell if you're current with these. This episode is usually out by now because I am recording this on Tuesday night and I usually record them on Sunday. A little backstory to myself, but I procrastinated. I even procrastinated today after I got home from work. Because it's nighttime. I should be in bed by now. I'm old and tired. I should be in bed by now. But I'm recording this episode. And that means this is still Dumb Test Late. I'm still Kirk. And this is still the cake story. Quick apology. I just realized something. If you listen to previous episodes, there may have been a clicking noise. And I just realized what that was. For some reason, the headphones I was using that's connected to my mic, for some reason, I don't know why, they're stiff or something. They made, like the plastic, I'm assuming, in them made like a clicking noise, and the microphone was picking them up. That means this is a good microphone. And sorry if that was a noise before, but I just realized what. At first, I thought it was this old chair that I use. But sorry. We're doing it live. We're learning. But I just grabbed like these old Apple earbuds. Remember when Apple used to put earbuds when they sold you a phone? They don't even, sorry, tangent. It's too early. It's too early for a tangent. Like I said, I'm still Kirk. This is still Dumb Test Late. And we're back with the cake story, okay? It's late at night. I should be in bed. I'm old. But yeah, like I was saying, I was sitting down to record it. Okay, so backstory. I recorded it, not the whole episode, but a segment first. Then I realized it was the headphones that were making the clicking noise. So I basically deleted what I recorded and started again. So you're welcome. But like I said, in the previous recording that you haven't heard, I sat down to record and I put on the old school, Great British Baking Show. And I didn't realize, back when it was like Paul Hollywood's still on it, but the ones with Mary Berry, they instead of just doing a regular competition, they did like this masterclass episode thing. I didn't realize it, but I put that on to watch, and then it clicked in my head. Watching Paul Hollywood, and I was like thinking about my character Andrey in this story, the cake story, Andrey and Eldin's relationship, and how much of a backstory I want to give Andrey, because to backtrack, Andrey is going to be the villainous character. Not villainous in the sense of he's like not Thanos or anything like that. He's not some ultimate bad guy. He's a person who does bad things, but of course I need to fill out his backstory so you as the audience could realize in a small sense why he does these things to Eldin, why he's selfish this way. And I was thinking about maybe because I think hopefully I said this in a previous episode, that between Andrey and Eldin, there's a big, not a huge, but there's a large age gap with Andrey being older than Eldin. I was thinking maybe to add to Andrey's backstory and kind of to Eldin's backstory in a lesser sense, Andrey, like I said, he was this previous baker, and maybe him and Eldin met at this baking school. Patisserie or whatever it's called. But maybe Andrey had a career in like a baking show, or he tried to, or he had some sense of fame as a baker early on, but he was kind of blacklisted when a rumor came out that he was gay, and the history of media that if that rumor hits, he got blacklisted and he got basically blackballed or whatever, where he couldn't be a success. He couldn't, he felt like he was this great artistic baker and he had all this promise. He was going to be the best baker in the world. But once like that rumor hit that he, was a gay man, that he, his show got canceled, or he never got taken seriously, or because he was on a show, he didn't get taken seriously and the show wasn't that much of a success. So he has all of this pent up rage or pent up hatred for things inside of him, but he has to carry on. Of course, time carries on. And then when he meets Eldin and sees Eldin for this great master baker that's super shy and super reserved and still wet behind the ears and is young and is, still coming up, that even though the initial lust or initial attraction between them, Andrey takes advantage of it and sees, his ticket to being a great success again, and showing the world that he is this great baker is taking advantage of Eldin. And also this backstory related to Eldin, because since, like I said, Eldin is younger, maybe he could have grown up and seen Andrey on this baking show or whatever, on this cooking show, or read one of his cooking books and, fell for him at a young age, but then end up going to this patisserie to learn how to bake or to become a baker. Andrey was there because Andrey, was blacklisted from being in, a Hollywood bakery, a Hollywood type bakery where he was a reality show or had his own baking show, was successful. So he got stuck teaching. But like he said, him and Eldin meet and they start this relationship where they kind of depend on each other, with Andrey depending on Eldin to take advantage of him from his great baking skills. But like I said, being wet behind the ears, being young, not knowing he's being taken advantage of, or not knowing how to be in a relationship, because this kind of Eldin's first relationship, and he doesn't know what gaslighting is. He doesn't know he's being taken advantage of and all this stuff. And Eldin getting from Andrey the love, like he never really had love from his parents and acceptance for his parents, and Andrey shows him that and gives him the support. Even though he's getting taken advantage of, he doesn't realize that he's getting something from it the same way Andrey's getting something from this relationship. So I'm thinking that would add to their backstory. That's kind of, I wouldn't say Andrey's Paul Hollywood. Paul Hollywood is tough, but he's not villainous. I would make Andrey more villainous and more conniving. Like he has all this hate inside of him because he was treated wrong, because the rumor got out that he was gay and his show was shut down and he wasn't able to succeed because of that. And then he sees Eldin, this young gay man that even though he has love for him, he kind of has this resentment towards, because he feels like Eldin has it easier than him. He came up in an earlier time where he couldn't have been an open gay man, but he sees Eldin can be that way, and he kind of has resentment towards that. It's like that cyclical. If you're abused, you might end up abusing someone else. If you're hurt, you might end up hurting someone else, and you're not realizing what you're actually doing. And that's all going to be part of the relationship dynamic between them. Even though they're in some way getting something from each other, they don't realize what they're doing to each other. And it's going to come to a point, like I said in the last episode I did, where the straw that broke the camel's back, and Eldin finally breaks away from this relationship. It kind of has to start over. That's going to be like the jump in the movie, my Act 2 jump, which I've talked about before, but I'm filling in more of the backstory and to get, the backstory and the character dynamics and the relationships. Also, another backstory thing is that I've talked about Eldin, like his adoptive family, like the family he, gravitates toward later in life, because his parents weren't there for him. And as soon as he hit a certain age, he kind of stopped dealing with them. And I talked about the polycule relationship, I should say. The older set, the two main characters that I said I was going to be based off of, like the Robin Williams character and the Nathan Lane character in Birdcage, I was thinking maybe strictly going off of that them being older, they were previously drag queen performers that always were in contention with each other, and they fell in love and they got old together, and they still, do drag shows once in a while, or they own, same thing from Birdcage, they own, this club or something like that. So it's a performance hall where drag shows get put on. Or maybe they just, choreograph them or do music. And Eldin always sees them as this really happy couple that started out as competitors, fell in love, and got old together. And he wants that too, because that's his, I guess I'll say, because I can think of a better way to say, his relationship goals that he sees, because most of the relationships he saw growing up with his parents were negative and bad and abusive and not supportive and not loving. So there's this adopted family he gravitated towards. He wants that because he thinks that's what's the best kind of relationship. And that's why for the longest, he keeps trying to make it work with Andrey, because he wants that relationship, that similar relationship that his adoptive family has. And that could be like, a parallel backstory with, you see why Eldin, sticks around. He, maybe deep down his mind, he knows he's being taken advantage of, but he thinks things will get better. This will get better. We'll grow old together and all this stuff, because that's what he wants. Another reason why he stays in the relationship. What else did I have? Sorry. I do that when I'm like thinking that. Also, I talked about Andrey, maybe I think in the 70s or 80s, I'll say. He was like in an early baking show. But like I said, the rumor got out that he may have been gay, and he got blacklisted and blackballed and all that stuff. And that's why he's like, I don't want to say back to teaching, but stuck in a teaching job he hates until he finds Eldin and sees Eldin as his golden ticket back to fame. Also, this is a back thing that's going to be part of, I guess, Act 2. This is going to jump off in Act 2 when Eldin and Andrey break. Calling back to earlier episodes when I talked about maybe there's a rival bakery that they're in competition with, that Eldin, because he's on his own now, end up working for, or there's another baker that he falls for. Like I said on the last episode when I was talking about characters, based on like actors now, when I talked about the Elliot Page from like the rival bakery. So early, one of the first episodes of the Kick episodes I did, I mentioned something. Sorry to say this, but it popped into my head. But I said something about a vagina cheese Danish, because that's another thing about the bakery from this reality show that Andrey and Eldin do, A&E Bakery. They do erotic cakes and bakeries and pastries, I should say. And Eldin really secretly hates that, because he's very artistic. He's very like good, and he feels like he's stuck doing this for, a niche or just for the reality show. That's part of the reason why he wants to break away. But like, this could be part of the story where Andrey and the producers of this reality show push this product, and Eldin hates having to make it because he thinks it's stupid. He thinks it's crass. He thinks it's offensive, this vagina cheese Danish. But he has to, being part of his bakery, and Andrey, kind of pushing him to do this because Andrey is in charge and the star of the show and the producers and all of the show and all this stuff. And they end up making it, but they get complaints, and somebody shows up to the bakery to complain about it. And that's going to be Elliot Page's character. And they go off on Eldin, because of course Andrey isn't there. Eldin's the one actually doing the work. And then Eldin, like Elliot Page's character can be from another bakery or something like that. And they can say how embarrassing this is because it's offensive to trans people, it's offensive to lesbians and all this stuff. People with vaginas, I should say. And Eldin agrees with them. Is like, I hate it too. We had to do this for the show. And then Elliot Page's character and Eldin's character kind of, get a small sense of friendship together because they have this agreement that they both hate this thing. And then not at that moment, but like Eldin's character finally sees something in someone where they're like-minded. They're a baker like him. They're younger like he is, but he's still stuck on Andrey. So even though he, is smitten by Elliot Page's character, he can't do nothing about it. But then later on, after the Act 2 split, maybe they get back together and they end up working together at the Act 3 at the big end of the reality show Bake Off competition. That could be part of it. That that's how I get Eldin into another love interest, where that it's a good love interest, and that adds to his confidence and boosts him and makes him feel better and all this stuff, that he is worthy of a good relationship, because that's something Eldin struggles with, is his confidence and all that stuff. But him connecting with somebody from a rival bakery who he was always told was evil and his competition, but he sees them in a different light. Him being on his own and learning more about himself. That could be the one of the character progressions for Eldin. Yeah, I think that's all I had. Andrey was show his being a jaded old star who was treated badly, and that's kind of why he ends up treating Eldin badly, because he was hurt, so he ends up hurting someone else. It's like that cyclical thing. He can't see from his own hate, his own like downside. He ends up taking advantage of Eldin. Eldin's polycule kind of parental guides were former drag queens in competition with each other, but they end up falling for each other and having this really great romance story that Eldin loves and wants to emulate. But that makes him see the world, with rose-colored glasses on. He can't really see that Andrey's taking advantage of him, because all he wants is this loving relationship that he thinks he's going to get from him. And then Elliot Page's character. Yeah. So that's what I have so far. I'm building more on the backstory. I'm building everything back up. Sorry if I'm hopping around so much, but that's how my brain works. But yeah, it's late at night. I need to get to bed because I'm tired. So that's where I'll end this one. Yeah. Caken to Redo part 8. Are we at part 8? Part 9? For my watch list, I started watching the Broken Hearts Club. I didn't finish it. I will. Maybe it'll turn like the movie Bros did. It was okay. I mean, it's just, you have to remind yourself that it was made, I think, in 2000, which was 24 years old. 24 years ago. I think 2000, 2001, something like that. But I'll finish it. I need more cheesy romantic comedies to get my juices flowing. But yeah, like I said, I'll end it there. That's what I had so far to add to my backstory on this story of Caken to Redo. And like I said in the beginning, this is still Kirk. This is still Dumb Test Slate. I didn't even use AI. I keep forgetting to use AI. I'll use AI at some point as this show is advertised. But thanks for listening. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.